In the city of Cyprus, around the year 300 BC, there was a very wealthy merchant named Zeno. During a voyage from Phoenicia to Piraeus, his ship went down, taking all of his cargo with it. Just like that, in a single moment, completely beyond Zeno's or anyone else's control, this rich man lost everything and became poor. Now picture yourself in Zeno's place. How would you respond if your entire life's efforts vanished in an instant, swept away by nothing but the force of nature? Would you rage? Break down? Would you feel like life had betrayed you? These reactions would be expected from most people, but not from Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. A single shift can last forever. One small change in the way we look at things can ripple into deeper, more transformative changes. The essence of Stoicism is grounded in acceptance and neutrality. After immersing himself in the works of Socrates and other philosophers, Zeno began to shape and teach the philosophy of Stoicism. Zeno taught that while we can't always control what happens around us, we can absolutely govern how it affects us. And this, he believed, is where our true power lies. Instead of lamenting his losses, drowned cargo, Zeno chose to remain composed, calm, detached, even from the misfortune that had just appended his life. Today, people often think of Stoics as emotionless, immune to extremes like rage or panic, but Stoicism's roots are far deeper. It wasn't simply a label for people who didn't cry or shout. It was an entire way of seeing, living in, and making sense of the world. That worldview has survived for thousands of years. It remains as useful today as it was then. Stoicism enables us to confront painful experiences and reframe them into powerful, useful perspectives. And perspective is everything. Every person's viewpoint is shaped by their unique set of life experiences. The Stoics shared their teachings in public, not behind closed doors or in elite schools. They believed this knowledge was for everyone. That's why anyone from slaves to emperors was free to learn, teach, and live by Stoic principles. And many did. Some of history's most prominent Stoics include Epictetus's name meaning acquired, as he was once a slave, Seneca, the respected statesman, and Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome and among the most powerful men of his time. The early Stoics practiced what they preached. They opposed social division and fought against inequality. They even coined the word cosmopolitan, literally meaning citizen of the world. Today, that word brings to mind cities like New York, Toronto, Dubai, and London, places rich in diversity. That global unity was exactly what Stoics stood for. Back when philosophy was largely closed off to women, Stoics refused to go along with that. Musonius Rufus, Epictetus' teacher, argued that women were just as drawn to virtue as men. He asked, if women are equally capable of understanding right from wrong, why should they be barred from pursuing philosophy? Thanks to this view, even at a time when it was uncommon, women had the opportunity to study Stoicism and adopt its teachings. So why do so many people today adopt Stoicism as a lifestyle? Because in a world where unexpected events constantly throw us off balance, emotions often cloud our judgment. The truth is, we don't get upset simply because bad things happen. We're shaken because we didn't expect them to. Rain, for instance, is good. It waters crops, supports animals, and cools the air. Yet when a sudden downpour catches you without an umbrella, it's unpleasant. But we don't cry when it rains because we expect it. It's inevitable. It passes. The sun returns. In the same way, Stoicism teaches us to anticipate that the worst might happen, and to be at peace with that. One Stoic exercise is called voluntary discomfort. Its purpose is to foster gratitude. That means sleeping on your kitchen floor, taking cold showers when you're used to warm ones, eating only plain food, like potatoes. These small challenges teach you that even in discomfort, you can thrive with the right mindset. This helps build mental resilience for whatever the future might hold. Today, we're constantly bombarded with ads telling us that unless we buy the next best thing, look a certain way, or earn a certain amount, we won't be happy. Stoicism counters this idea. We come into this world knowing very little. We learn from our families, schools, and personal experience. But often, those sources give us conflicting ideas, so we must ask, should we absorb everything we're taught? If we do, we risk setting expectations so high they'll never be met, leading to disappointment and discontent. That's not how we should live. We must instead focus on growth for ourselves. Do things for your own sake, not for external rewards. Relying on external validation usually leads to emptiness. We try to fill that emptiness with things, expensive cars, big houses, even relationships. But if we chase those things only for their surface value, We put our happiness in the hands of forces outside our control, and those forces fail often. Cars break down, cities are destroyed by nature, marriages end, even the free things in life come with a cost base: attention, energy. Seneca once said, "Learning to live with less will create space in your life for the things that truly matter." So we must root our happiness in our internal worth, not in possessions or social status. The goal is to stay centered no matter what comes our way. Because ultimately, we control very little of what happens around us, but we control entirely how we respond. That's the core idea behind the Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control. As Epictetus wrote, the chief task in life is this: to separate things into what we can control and what we cannot. A Stoic learns to define their value based on what lies within their power, not on what lies outside of it. Pursuing goals is healthy, but falling apart when things don't go your way, that, to a Stoic, is a waste of energy. Even making YouTube videos isn't free from struggle. First comes the idea, which takes ages, then research, then scrapping it and starting again, then scripting, recording, editing, thumbnails, titles. Everything leading up to the upload is within your hands. But the moment you click upload, everything shifts to the YouTube algorithm. Yet people often measure their content's worth by views or followers, things they can't control. Stoicism advises us to evaluate success by the effort we put in, not by outcomes we can't guarantee. Trust the process. To live with less is to remove the chains you've unknowingly placed on yourself. Imagine someone who's worked hard for 6 months and now feels deserving of a promotion. He takes his performance report to his boss. The boss thanks him but offers nothing. Disappointed, the worker assumes he's not good enough. But maybe the boss was having a bad day. Maybe another employee was more qualified. Maybe the company couldn't afford raises. He doesn't know, but he's still upset. If he had judged his worth by the quality of the work he submitted, and continued to improve, he would have stayed happier, and his goal wouldn't be lost, only delayed. That mindset shift is everything. A true Stoic doesn't define success by how much money they make, but by their ability to live well without needing wealth. The 4 central virtues of Stoicism are wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom means knowing the difference between what's internal and what's external, and choosing our response accordingly. As Viktor Frankl put it, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose. Courage, 2 words: persist and resist. Temperance or moderation is saying more with fewer words, and doing more with less. While billionaires battle for the top spot on Forbes' list, Stoics believe true wealth lies in having what is essential and then just enough. Justice is the highest virtue. It says, harm no one, because we are all here for each other. 2. Help each other. Nelson Mandela, one of Africa's most iconic leaders, lived this out. After spending 27 years in prison for fighting apartheid, he was elected president. Many expected revenge. But Mandela, having read Marcus Aurelius and learned Stoic teachings, chose peace. Instead of punishment, he encouraged healing. He reminded the nation that the past was beyond their control, and only by moving forward could they rebuild. Modern therapy also draws from Stoicism. Rational emotive behavioral therapy helps people identify and challenge negative thought patterns. Using logic, once those thoughts are exposed, they can be replaced with healthier beliefs. Logotherapy, inspired by Stoicism, holds that humans find happiness by finding purpose even in suffering. Of course, that's not always easy. Like everything else, it's a process, one that requires rewiring how we think. To solve the happiness problem, we must define self-worth not by what's outside us, but by what's within our control. This helps us let go of the things that don't serve us, and move toward a more peaceful, fulfilling life. Stoicism helps guide us through rough waters, towards calm. And if one day, the ship does sink and we drown, we can take comfort knowing we lived well, even if not as long as we'd hoped, because, after all, everything must come to an end.